Hi, everyone. Welcome to Automate Incidents Response between Operations and Service. Please remember, for anything you hear today, think about our forward-looking statements. Any purchasing decisions that you make should be based on what's available right now. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Sonal Marias, and I'm a Principal Solution Engineer with Slack.
And I'm Kat Gaines. I'm a developer advocate with PagerDuty.
And we'll dig right into it from here. So we're probably all thinking about how we got here, and there's a whole bunch of reasons to be talking about today's topic. And we want to have a conversation because we're curious. We know that change is all around us, and not only how do we accept change, but how can we flip the narrative and find areas for growth within that? And as we all know, change is the new constant. So let's consider what we're experiencing right now. We're seeing macroeconomic conditions disrupting business as usual, with increasing headwinds that make it challenging for organizations to meet customer expectations. So for service teams, this means more complex cases and anxious customers that are harder to satisfy. Agents have to rely more and more on those outside of their immediate team. And in fact, escalations are now up 68% this past year. Most customers expect to solve their problems by talking to just one person, and something has to change in order to retain all of those customers. Now, because this increase in expectations is putting a big strain on employees, annual agent turnover is continuing to climb, so organizations are tasked with creating conditions that can make their employees' lives easier to work in.
We are in the second decade of a digital transformation journey, with the majority of our customer interactions being digital in nature and companies as a result spending trillions of dollars on digital initiatives. In the last year alone, over $1.3 trillion were spent on digital initiatives. And to date, most of this investment has been centered on making manual processes more digital to improve the customer experience and drive efficiencies. But to make that possible, the teams that drive our customer experience have to be connected with the teams behind the product to create visibility into the customer journey across the entire business. A great customer experience is a partnership between both sides of the business. So your organizations cannot work in silos. Your customer service team or your CS ops need to be connected to your IT ops and your DevOps. You can't have one without the other. That helps them know when there are incidents happening, how severe something that is happening in terms of what the customer is that's going to experience, and how long until something will be resolved, if there are workarounds, et cetera. All of the critical information that both sides need in order to troubleshoot the issue.
And with that, there are 3 value enhancements activities that are related. We can validate customer purchase decisions, reassure the customer that their purchase decision was in fact a smart one, or we can educate customers on better uses. Rather than focusing on how customers have been using the product incorrectly, better teach them on how to best use it. Or we can advise customers on new uses, introducing the customer to newly introduced or untapped product features. So we'll take a closer look now at incident management specific to Slack. Now, we know it does not work if IT ops and CS operate separately and siloed, as this can increase the different points of contacts, escalation, and creating our challenge at the end of the day. We know that the traditional support method of escalating difficult cases to managers or other teams simply doesn't cut it. And 82% of customers expect us to solve complex problems by talking to just one person, according to Salesforce's State of the Connected Customer report. The old way of providing support often results in long resolution times, multiple handoffs for complex cases. And that's frustrating for the customer, and it's also inherently inefficient for organizations. We've seen traditional tiered support structures which have many challenges, resulting in delays and slower case resolution times. Now, for example, a customer can get passed from a tier 1 support engineer to a tier 2, and then a tier 3, and then they have to repeat all of the information they've already shared about their issue. Talking to all of these different case owners means it takes longer to resolve that case and ultimately a lower customer satisfaction. So to summarize, Slack fundamentally transforms organizations in the way they can manage incidents in the modern hybrid work era. With automation and out-of-the-box integrations with your monitoring and incident response tools, Slack gets all of the right people in the right place quickly. So instead of manually switching over from a Zoom call, waiting for someone to see an email, and hoping responders will get in there quickly, troubleshooting can begin literally in seconds. Everyone can be in the right place, and Slack then facilitates quick issue resolution with transparent and flexible collaboration. Whereas the virtual war room is very interruptive in nature, as new joiners will ask for context, situational awareness. Slack empowers those same people to get up to speed quickly by having the right information at the right time. Instead of peeling people off the incidents to communicate, all of the information stays intact and everyone has the accessibility they need. Now, once an incident is resolved, Slack also helps make that incident's reviews and postmortems painless and efficient. Incident channels have all conversations, decisions, and actions. Every detail of an incident is preserved and referenceable. Essentially, we're creating a timestamped audit trail. Instead of relying on people's memories during a stressful situation or viewing hours and hours of Zoom recordings and then searching for relevant emails, you have everything you need in your single source of truth. Now, this might sound too good to be true, and you could be wondering, is this really worth using Slack for incident management? And the spoiler alert is yes. Across over 100 customers interviewed have shared that the average mean time to detect an incident was reduced by 17%. And the average mean time to resolve incidents decreased by 19%. Now, if that doesn't get IT ops and engineering leaders excited, we don't know what will. It's very easy to tie those two stats to hard dollars, both in terms of reducing downtime impact on lost revenue or cost savings, and also the impact of time saved of all the people involved in major incidents. So major incidents are impossible to prevent completely, but how you react to those major incidents is what makes all the difference. So this is where, using Service Cloud and Slack together for incident management, you can streamline incident resolution by giving everyone involved shared context and tools to stay in the loop. Slack enables you to do incident management in a different way than you would have otherwise. Traditional companies could spin up a conference bridge, but with Slack, you can streamline that incident resolution by giving everyone that shared context and the tools they need to stay in the loop, again, from one place. You're able to do this by bringing in cross-functional team members together in a swarm, again, using Slack and Service Cloud, and that is both audio and video enabled. Ultimately, this will lead to greater customer trust by communicating delivery in real time across all of your impacted customers.
So let's set the tone a little bit. Without using PagerDuty, Service Cloud, and Slack together, customers aren't necessarily going to be happy with the results. You might have bad interactions, bad experiences as a result of lags and delays, and the stats show that 50% of customers will just leave a business after one bad interaction. 62% of us, likewise, if we have a bad experience, we'll share it far and wide with everyone we know.
So what we can see is the impact that Slack has made on incident management. Overall, 17% faster time to detect incidents, 19% reduced team time to resolve those incidents, and 86% agree that Slack makes it easier to share those learnings. And here we'll pass it on to Kat to talk more about incident management specific to PagerDuty.
So we've been talking about revolutionizing your customer experience, and what your teams might not always realize on that journey is how deep, how complex, and cross-functional that effort can get. This is a look at a typical digital service. In this case, it's a map of a streaming service's dependencies. There are thousands of microservices represented here. They're all interconnected and interdependent. Each one of them generates data that is meaningless in isolation, but as a group, it becomes software. Behind that software are people in distributed teams tasked with keeping this level of complexity running, and also tasked with anticipating the unexpected in our world, which is increasingly unpredictable. Different teams have to work together to reach that goal, whether it's customer service on the front lines or your engineering teams behind the product. As we talk through the ways in which this can be done, I'm going to challenge you to think about how your teams are working together to resolve issues. For example, when a customer reaches out to customer support, how does that agent find the right person to fix the problem? At PagerDuty, we really love to talk to our customers. We love to understand their challenges, and that's in service of confidently building toward helping to resolve those challenges. Repeatedly, we found that some of the most common issues they highlight in these conversations are really exacerbated by siloed customer service and engineering departments. While many backend engineering teams have figured out that they could use PagerDuty as a real-time digital operations platform, customer service unintentionally remains siloed off with a wall of different tools and systems such as spreadsheet directories, Jira ticketing systems, and other tools acting as a barrier. This obstructs communication and collaboration between the front-end customer service teams and back-end development teams. But we believe that customer service and support are a natural extension of what we've been doing and what engineering teams are working on. To meet the goals of either team, whether it's building better products or caring for customers, the two departments, as we'll see in a moment, need connection more than ever. Shared metrics and shared understanding of each other's goals is one step in this direction, and shared tooling with full visibility can push that a step further. Really, the big picture idea for us is to remove the walls of communication and collaboration between customer service organizations and back-end engineering teams, especially when there's a need to work in real time together to resolve a customer impacting disruption, such as an outage or even just a pretty intense bug. Your customer service team has to be empowered. They need more visibility to solve customer problems faster. Your engineering resources likewise need visibility too, and they need to know that they won't have to pull their focus from development or active issue mitigation to other tasks such as managing updates and communications that customer service or other frontline teams might need. Your engineering team can solve issues faster if they have real-time examples from customer service, and your customer service team can keep customers happier in critical moments if both sides have the visibility to provide more information. We're aiming to break down the siloed walls of both organizations. Now I'll pass it back to Sonal to go over automating some incident response between our operations and service teams using Slack and PagerDuty.
Great. So hopefully what you can see from here is that using Slack and PagerDuty together will take your organization to the next level. When it comes to Slack and PagerDuty working together, Slack will be the digital HQ, a place where work flows between people, systems, partners, and customers. PagerDuty that empowers organizations of all sizes with real time and operations. Together, Slack and PagerDuty enable IT apps and DevOps teams to stay on the same page for real-time operations. Using the bidirectional integration, these teams can access PagerDuty's operations platform, all from within the context of Slack. From Slack, you're able to create, reassign, escalate, and run response plays. You can also add response help from a Slack notification, have one set of permissions, instant-rich incident context, and learn by Slackbot. From PagerDuty, you can create a Slack channel, Peace Hub, capture all actions for postmortem reviews, view on-call schedules, and schedule overrides. Now here we can see a representation of what happens between PagerDuty and Slack for incident management. PagerDuty will ingest signals from a variety of means, and with PagerDuty and Slack, these alerts can be noisy, which slows down real-time ops. Teams need to cut through the alert noise to get down to the actual issue at hand and connect as much background data as possible, which is what we can see happening here. Alerts are aggregated, context is added, and automated responses are run. PagerDuty works with Slack in this regard by automating the creation of a Slack channel and connecting our event intelligence data to the right response team. Now, during the incident response phase, the right team members need to communicate in real time and react to evolving issues by doing things like reassigning or escalating an incident or adding additional responders. A long-standing PagerDuty customer shared that they started using the tools together more broadly in the last 12 months, and they shared how they could see the difference between peacetime and wartime. Now, peacetime is that mode of operations that occurs during the normal day-to-day activities of any IT org. Think of this as your business as usual. Wartime is that mode of operations that occurs when systems are not normal. So this customer particularly shared how peacetime scenarios were great, as their engineers want to work in Slack swiftly to manage low severity incidents into team channels, and they can easily acknowledge or resolve directly from Slack. Now, for wartime scenarios, teams also have the ability to quickly and easily join a conference bridge. They can take on other actions on the incident, in particular running a play, and they can sync to other systems like service. In the past, teams would lose a lot of time, up to 10 minutes, coordinating responders, manually creating or searching for a Slack channel, and inviting those people into conference bridges. But now, creating an incident channel directly from PagerDuty, we're automatically inviting all of the responders. We're sharing conference bridge details with dedicated channels in context for all incidents-related collaboration. This is super helpful for postmortems too. Decisions and actions recorded by scribes in real time. This is shared before. What we're doing essentially is creating that reusable information repository. And I'll pass it back to Kat here to talk about some customer stories.
So let's take a look at the manufacturing and field service industry. Field service calls can be really expensive for a business. And a head of field service like Ryan is thinking about all of the things that you see pictured here at one time. He's thinking about how we eliminate the errors and get all of our teams on the same page. Customer service is one piece that falls under his responsibilities, and their manual process to connect to other teams can be prone to errors and miscommunication. Things might get lost in translation, and as a result, your customer service agents may be left with no clear direction. With PagerDuty connecting his teams to other parts of the business using Salesforce and Slack, what was manual is now automated. Dedicated incident channels exist when there's an issue. Everyone knows exactly where to go to get the latest updates with all of the context they need, and every team can answer requests faster and more efficiently. Let's look at another example and consider the challenges that Maria, a director of customer service at Million Publishing, faces. She's responsible for, again, everything you see here: marketing, e-service, the knowledge base, site reliability, creative, and customer success. Her industry, e-learning, has become critical to modern education, especially over the last few years, and delivering available, timely content is expected. The main problem she faced recently was ensuring that she was meeting the SLAs for her major customers and ensuring that her CS agents knew how to escalate cases that needed immediate attention. They found the solution to both of these problems with PagerDuty customer service operations. Being able to streamline the CS to Eng escalation process empowered their team with the PagerDuty Salesforce application. Agents could now escalate cases to the right party as soon as they noticed a customer impacting disruption. In addition, they integrated PagerDuty with Salesforce to create rule sets in Salesforce to notify their customer service agents in a round-robin fashion when an SLA was nearing a breach. And they were able, as a result, to communicate and poll and notify stakeholders using Slack. This connection of PagerDuty, Salesforce, connections in Slack broke down the walls of communication and collaboration between agents and engineers, putting everybody on the same page and creating value for the customers. And now we'll go to a quick demo. Retail for You had a busy day ahead on their annual blowout sale day. Their fulfillment centers were fully stocked. Employees were cross-trained to be able to ensure balanced execution, and they had managed many dry runs in the weeks leading up to the sale day. They also used Salesforce to ensure their customer relationships were an industry gold standard, and PagerDuty, the operations cloud, to ensure the best possible customer experience. Disruptions to the business are sometimes unavoidable. Being a continuous delivery company in a competitive space, Retail for You decided to push out a new deploy on the morning of the sale, which promoted new deals and a great discount for the new PS5 on their homepage. On blowout sale morning, their customers went to the website, added their PS5s to their carts, but they couldn't check out when they tried to apply the discount. The website showed that in-store pickup was also available for 24 hours later for the same price, so those customers changed their orders to pick up in-store instead of waiting for a fix for online delivery and registered their complaints on the website survey. Meanwhile, in the back office, the DevOps engineer on call, Adam, saw a P2 incident in PagerDuty for the online checkout service and created a dedicated Slack channel for the incident. Diving in, he noticed a spike in response time reported by Datadog on the West Coast. All alert signals from Datadog and Splunk were intelligently grouped for his reference, cutting through unwanted noise. While Adam investigated, he ran a P2 response play to quickly notify his specialist, start a Slack swarm, open a Zoom conference bridge, and send out an automatic status update to immediate stakeholders. Meanwhile, in the front office, the customer service team saw a huge rise in cases complaining about inability to check out. So Dahlia, a customer service agent on call, checked the PagerDuty application in Salesforce for a likely culprit and had immediate visibility into Adam's ongoing P2 incident. Dahlia linked her case to this incident, followed by her peers on the customer service team doing the same, to promptly alert Adam and the DevOps team about rising customer impact. Meanwhile, the DevOps team who were troubleshooting the incident ran diagnostics from within Slack using PagerDuty automation actions. The output report showed long latencies and timeouts, validating the issue. And by now, they had immediate visibility into customer impact thanks to those linked cases from customer service. Following the rise in customer impact, Adam quickly upgraded the incident priority to P1 and sent out a new status update to all stakeholders. Following the updates on the incident timeline, the communications manager was also pulled into the existing Slack swarm with the customer service supervisor and the back office, bringing everyone together. The PagerDuty application in Salesforce held all the real-time status updates on the incident from the DevOps team. With easy insight into probable cause and expected timelines for the fix, the communications manager was able to quickly craft messaging with an update both for stakeholders and for customers. In the back office, digging deeper, the incident response team reviewed recent changes for the checkout service, and they identified that the new deployment in the morning, just minutes before the incident trigger, caused the PS5 checkout issue that broke the purchase process. The team was then quick to identify which automated runbook to execute for remediation. They quickly ran an automation action to roll back the deployment from the morning. This evoked a multiple-step automation workflow behind the scenes, run via PagerDuty process automation. The rollback was successful, and to confirm, Adam ran point-in-time diagnostics again to validate improvement post-rollback. The output report returned normal values, which was backed up by improved monitoring data, so Adam resolved the incident with the updated resolution status, and this in turn resolved the Salesforce case. The short duration of the incident helped limit the revenue impact to retail for you. Once the case was resolved, Dahlia triggered a work order from within Salesforce as a preventative next step, which helped create a P1 field services incident for stores listed for curbside pickup in 24 hours to restock. Thanks to this timely warning to restock the PS5s in those stores, the field services team executed quickly. Working with the store managers, trucks were deployed from fulfillment centers to stores to restock the PS5s. This speedy incident resolution helped prevent a lasting revenue impact on one of the most important days of the year for retail for you. But it did more than just that. It helped the impacted customers walk away happy with PS5s in hand, all facilitated by a seamless curbside pickup process from well-stocked stores.
Great. So with that, we'll close things out. Hopefully what you're able to see in summary are a few key areas. One being that we're able to keep IT ops and DevOps teams aligned. We can stay on top of all incidents by collaborating around real-time notifications in the most relevant Slack channels. We can drive real-time ops, running a PagerDuty incident response play from a Slack notification and adding responders on the fly. We can create, reassign, escalate, or gather more context about an incident, all within Slack. We can resolve incidents faster using automation to quickly diagnose with telemetry enrichment, and auto-remediate with triggered jobs directly from Slack. And we have visibility without interruption. We can allow stakeholders to view incident details and updates without slowing down the responders with dedicated stakeholders in updated channels. Responders are able to author stakeholder updates and resolution notes from Slack without having to context switch. So after all of this information, that really awesome demo that we just saw, hopefully you had some great learnings, and we just want to thank you. So thank you so much for the time, and enjoy.
Thank you again.